Hi, welcome back to our channel, Two Brothers Opinion. My name is Barry. This is my brother Mark.
Yep. So today we're going to talk about the Second Amendment, but we actually have a copy of the Constitution right in front of me, and maybe I'll read the Second Amendment. So it says, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." And I know that a lot of people, when they hear the word militia, they assume that that's the military. And that's not what that was.
Absolutely.
That's not what that was meant to be.
Yeah.
So I think you said you have something.
Well, I do have a little bit of information that I looked up. The origins of the Second Amendment, and not just our Second Amendment. It's just talk about right to bear arms.
Right.
So the origins actually go back to ancient Rome and Florence. And then it goes to England, the Britain actually. Queen Elizabeth I, she talked about requiring all classes of people to participate in a militia to defend the realm. And it also talks about the British Military Acts of 1757 to 1762 and why that was enacted. It was to help counter a potential invasion from France. And it also was in the 16th and 19th centuries. 1802 was enacted again, 1811, 1853. And this was all when, I guess, Britain was in conflicts to have enough people, transcripts, to fill the positions of military. So I think that's where sometimes people get a little confused as to why it's not just for military. Because a lot of our Constitution does come from the Magna Carta,
Right.
which came from England. And that's where we came from.
That's right. That's where all the guys came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes perfect sense that it would mirror a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the phrase, like to have a free state, because we don't want, and they didn't want, when they set up the Constitution, they didn't want the government to basically run our lives. We wanted to be free, where we have our own opinions, where we have freedom of speech, and if the government were to get too big, that we would have the right to challenge our government. Mm-hmm. And it makes it a lot harder for the government to basically take over
and be a tyranny.
Be a tyranny, right? If we're armed. And I think it's something like, I don't know, I've heard the estimates of there's 400 million guns in the United States. And I think that would stop a lot of the government from wanting to become tyrannical.
I think so. It would definitely hurt them a little bit.
Yeah. And one of the other things I think at some point we're going to cover in this is having a gun safety, how you get a gun, and having a license and all that. But so many people will say, guns kill people. And by the end of this video, you'll realize that, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And we'll have a little show and tell at the end of this to kind of prove that.
Yes. So I did a little more research, and everybody could do this. It's not hard.
Right.
To start up a channel and talk about things, you just need a little common sense. It says 36% of the population in the U.S. owns guns. That's a lot of people.
And probably they own multiple.
I would say so, including us.
Yeah.
And the highest, Montana has the highest percentage of residents that own guns. 65.7% of the population of
Well, that's not surprising.
Montana.
No, Montana hunting,
is
makes sense.
1.13 million people.
Yeah, right.
That's not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people, but it's
a high percentage of.
But it's also a culture of hunting and protecting family and things like that. So it makes sense that that it didn't surprise me that you said that Montana had that.
And surprisingly, the lowest is New Jersey, which it's only 8.9% of the people, and there's 9.29 million people.
I'd be curious to know how many. Those are legal guns.
Those are legal guns.
Right.
We're not talking
We're not-
about gangbangers. And,
Right, and how many illegal guns are running around in either, like New York, New Jersey, even Connecticut, or other states.
and it's really funny is that some of the cities with the most strict gun control, like Chicago, New York, have the highest crimes committed with firearms.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I've heard other people talk about this that at one point Australia got rid of all their guns. It was illegal to their own guns and everything, and crime went up. And then, as of I think this was like probably about a year ago, I heard this guy talking about it, and he had evidence that there are more guns in Australia now than there were before the ban.
Before the ban.
And crime is down.
And crime is down. Yep. So that's a little bit more information that we dug up.
Yeah, just something that we wanted to.
And I think everybody has a right to protect themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, we hear these things about gun show loopholes. Well, I lived in a state which was pro-gun. Arizona, was out there almost 10 years. And I've been to some of the gun shows out there and bought firearms in that state. There is no gun show loophole.
No.
You still have to go through the same background checks as in any other state.
And yeah, maybe so we can go through that. Like, so if you're looking to own a gun, so what's the process? At first you have to find someone who's a legal teacher, a certified teacher, and they're all over the place. So you would go and you take a gun course. Once you and the ones you need to take are live fire ones, where you get a chance to actually fire a pistol, and learn not only the education part of it, but how to actually handle one and the safety of it.
Correct.
So then you have to go through the process. Okay, now at least in our state, you have to go through a process with the state of, going through the paperwork.
The city first.
Well, city first, then state, and getting background checks, city, state, federal.
It's the same background check
They just
as
do it
the
over and
city
over.
or town that you live in, where we live.
They make you do it twice.
They make you do it twice.
And pay for it twice.
And pay for it. So it's about money. It's about nothing else.
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Arizona, you do the course, you do your live fire, and you send in the money. You do your fingerprints right there.
Yeah, your
Not done
fingerprints.
at a police station.
Right, we have to.
We have to do that in the town we live in, and send it in. They do the background check with the federal government, and they send you your license.
Yeah, and those and they're not ridiculous. I mean, even in Connecticut, they're a little expensive, but they're not. I mean, it's not that pricey to go through that whole process.
Okay, so now you know we live in Connecticut.
Yeah, you figured out. I mean, we've already gotten a comment like, okay, we can tell you guys are from the Northeast.
Just by our accent.
By our accent, which we don't think we have an accent.
Everybody else does.
Yeah. But it's a cool process, and I think you'd be surprised, even in a more democratic state like Connecticut, the amount of people who are walking around with guns, and you wouldn't even know it, but there's an awful lot of people.
Yeah, because this is a concealed carry only. It used to be open carry at one time, but they stopped that in the state not long ago.
Yeah, because originally, it was both.
It was both.
Yeah, and so now it's just concealed carry.
Because if you carried open carry, someone would call the cops, you'd get pulled over, or, they'd stop you on the street if you were walking. Why are you doing this? You get like you're a criminal.
Well, you're also, what we were told in the class was that you're a target. And, if you're walking around and it's open carry, you're a target now because someone knows you have something.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know. I think you're
that's what they said.
Not a target because, why would you want to come up to someone and try to rob them that has a gun?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't want to do
I
that.
wouldn't either, but that's what they were telling me.
Especially if they know how to use it properly.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, we have a little local paper, and the town next to mine was thinking of building an indoor firing range. So there's a comment section in our little local paper, and somebody had written that they didn't want it in their town. They didn't want to have all these people coming in there with guns and making all this noise. And so I had to respond. I responded to their letter in the paper saying, you absolutely want people there. You want a gun range. You want people going there and practicing because you know they're going to be safe. You know that they're not going to misuse it. You know that if they have to use it, they know what they're doing.
Okay.
And there was no response back.
Of course not, because you made sense.
Well, yeah, because it makes perfect sense.
Isn't there a town in Texas, I think, where everybody has to have a firearm and there's no home invasions?
Oh, it could be. I don't know.
I think there is. I think I heard that in the news, that there's a town. Maybe it's not Texas, but I thought it was, where everybody has to have a firearm.
Yeah.
You don't find people breaking into your house if they know everybody has a firearm.
No. And I also think it's good. Now, somebody may say, well, it's not good to have them in the house because what if you have kids or whatever? Well, first of all, you should have a safe where you keep it locked up, especially if you have little kids. And I have a daughter who's in high school, but I've had my license for a little while now, and my wife has her license. And my daughter's always known, like, this is where it is, and don't go near there. And she doesn't. So it's safe. It's like I say, it's in a safe.
And you need to talk to your children if they're young, to let them know that there are firearms in the house, and if you see one, not to touch it.
Absolutely. I mean, even when we grew up, our father was a constable, so there was a gun in the house. But I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I was too young.
He was a constable, so there was a gun in the house.
That's where cop came from, by the way. Constable on patrol.
Yes,
that's where that came from. Which is basically a police officer.
Yeah, and it was nothing where
we're just a world of knowledge, aren't we?
Yes,
we know a little bit about a lot of things,
stuff,
which
but
is
not
great.
a lot about a lot of stuff. But we have opinions about a lot of stuff.
We sure do.
But and so when I had gotten my license, I said to my wife, I said, listen, if there's going to be a gun in the house, you need to know how to use it. So she came with me. We did the class together, and it was funny because the instructor, who was an instructor at a military base, a sniper school. So this guy knew what he was doing. He was saying before we did the live fire part that the women tend to shoot better than the men do. And it was true. There was probably about 20 of us in the class. And I think the woman who shot the best out of all of us was this woman that she had to be in her 60s or 70s. And she was like right in bullseye every time. But anyways, it made perfect sense that if there's going to be one in the house, everyone should know how to use it. Yeah. So I had, I have my license. My wife has her license.
And we did the same thing. It was me, my niece, my sister, my brother-in-law. We all went, took the class. We went and shot. And the women shot better than men.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I've shot before. I've qualified before. I had a job where I needed to qualify every year to keep a blue card. A blue card is basically a card in Connecticut. I don't know if they have it in other states where you could wear your gun exposed 1 hour before work, 1 hour after work because you use your pistol in the line of duty. I worked on an armored car in Connecticut, so you don't want to carry concealed. You had a uniform and you would deliver money to banks, and that's what a blue card was.
Yeah.
So I had to qualify every year, which now I think it should be, just my opinion, I think it should be every couple of years you just shoot see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Almost like a driver's license. I
Sure.
think when you reach 70, you should have to take your driver's license like every couple of years.
Yeah.
Not the test,
the
but
driving
just the driving part.
Just, yeah, and they could have some basic thing. And
I know we went
should.
off on something a little bit different, but,
Yeah, but
still, I mean, it's just for safety.
Yeah, and we have a few indoor gun ranges in our state, and
more than a few.
Yeah, we have a few. So
and a few outdoor.
Yeah, and there are local fish and game places, organizations in towns that they do. Actually, I found out there's one in my town.
Oh, okay.
Where you can go shoot. You have to belong. Obviously, you have to belong to it, but you can go and shoot, and it's outdoor. So I'll have to, at some point, maybe I'll decide to do that. But So yeah, it's a topic that brings up
A lot of pro and con.
a lot of pros and cons and a lot of emotions. But I saw a video where they were interviewing these younger girls and they were anti-gun. So the person who was talking to them said, listen, why don't you come with me? We'll go and do the test. Like, take the test, take the course, and in the end, see if your opinion changes. And it was interesting that the girls really liked it, and one of them was actually going to go get her license. And prior to that, she was totally against it.
Because it teaches you a lot too.
Well, yeah, it's self-discipline.
The power that you have in your hands to, I mean, it's not just defense. I mean, there's a lot of people that shoot competition, shoot, target,
Sure.
whatever. But the power that you have in your hand to take someone's life is incredible, and you need to have that training. There was a circumstance where on the job we were delivering money to a bank. This is real. This is not fake. And it happened in one of the major cities in Connecticut. I won't say where. And my partner in the armored car went into the bank with money, and he was coming out, and there was this young kid, probably 18, 19, standing outside looking a little squirrely. And I radioed in to him on the walkie-talkie. I said, when you come out, there's a guy to your left. I said, I don't trust him. So I immediately took my gun out, cracked the door a little bit in the armored car, and I had my partner covered. And when he came out, the young teenager, that's what he was, said to him, give me the money. And of course, my partner, being who he is, former military, said something not too nice to him.
Maybe use an F word or something?
Yeah, something like that. And the look on his face, but when he picked up his shirt, he had a revolver tucked in his belt. And I was carrying a revolver myself. I had the revolver, the hammer, all the way back, pointed at his chest. He never saw me. And the first thing I said was, Lord, please don't let him touch that gun.
Right.
Because I'm going to have to take a human life.
Right. And you don't want to.
The caliber that I carried was .45 long Colt. So a chest shot with Winchester silver tip hollow point, 255 or 225 grain. I don't think he would have lived. And he didn't touch it. And just after the whole situation happened, the relief that I felt that I didn't have to take someone's life or possibly take someone's life over money.
Well, that's one of the things too that at least most of the people that I know, and probably everyone who has a gun license and carries, they don't want to have to use it.
No.
You never really want to have to use it. You want to go to a gun range, fine. But other than that, you don't want to have to use it. So, there are people, you go shopping in the mall or you go wherever, there are people around who are carrying, and you don't even know it.
Nope.
And it's possible that someone who is carrying could save your life if
in that situation
something happened like that. Yeah. So
there's a lot of places that you go. There would be a sign, no firearms allowed.
Right.
So where do you think? Just like school zones, no firearms. That's why there's school shootings, because they know no one in there has firearms, and not every school has a school police officer there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even if he is there or her, they could be on the other side of the school. These schools are so big.
Yeah.
So when I go to the movies, it says no firearms. I got a firearm on me.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm protecting my life. You don't want me in there, then put magnetometers. So when I walk through, you say you can't come here,
right.
And I'll never go there again,
right.
Because I'm protecting my life.
Yeah, because you never know. I mean, there have been situations with a movie theater that we go to where we had left, and probably within an hour or so after, there was a massive riot where fights broke out. You never know, and if you're there with your family, your wife and your daughter or son or young kids.
Yeah, in my case, my girlfriend.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah,
you don't want to have your family get hurt. So, again, it's protection, it's safety, it's a huge responsibility, but.
And to overthrow the government if they become tyrannical.
Yeah.
Which we don't want to happen.
No,
of course.
No.
But that's what it was in there for.
Yeah.
In there for.
Yeah, so, is there anything else you want to?
No, I mean, that's, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification
Yeah.
bell. We love to see comments. We did get a comment on one of our last videos.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that very much, who wrote that. Of course, this might not be for everybody, but again, that's what it is. These are our opinions, and we welcome opinions.
Yeah, and
Positive, negative.
right. And so in the beginning of the show, I said that we would show you some hard evidence of how guns don't kill people. People kill people. So this whole time, the last 20 minutes while we've been talking, on our table are two 9mm,
Two firearms.
two firearms.
Secure, safe.
Yep, they're secure, they're safe, and neither one gun turned around and shot us.
No.
So-
It takes an evil person to commit an evil act.
Yeah,
The gun is just a tool. I mean, you could take a car, and I mean, since you all know we're in Connecticut, last year I think there was 300 and something deaths on the highway, accidents.
like
they have them
310 or
posted on those boards that light up and say messages. And I don't see GM being told they can't build cars anymore.
no.
So, I mean, you take that forever how you like it, but that's the way I think. I think reasonable and logical.
Yeah,
This gun will sit here. I know they're not loaded. They're both safety checked.
Right.
But if it was loaded and a bullet in the chamber, it'll sit there forever
yep, and won't do anything.
and won't do anything till someone picks it up, whether to do positive or negative harm
Yeah.
to someone.
Right. So yeah, we just wanted to make sure that we went back from where I started to saying that we would have evidence, and it does. The evidence is guns don't kill people. People decide to do things. So you could do that with a knife. Knives don't kill people, but they could.
No, more murders are committed through blunt trauma, like hammers,
Yeah.
boards, whatever, than firearms.
Yeah.
So let's remove all hammers from stores.
So,
please.
all right. So one of the things we think we want to end all our talks with is for you to remember that you have a voice and don't let anyone silence you. So
That about wraps it up.
All
Like
right.
I said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and thank you very much. We'll see you on the next video.
Yep.